So, what do you do when you've had a loss in your family, a loss of a family member, and one that your pet was particularly close to, and you realize that your pet is walking through that season of loss and grief right alongside you? And how do you deal with that? How do you help them through it as you're navigating it yourself? And uh, what are some practical ways? So I wanted to get into that today because I've been walking through this for the last couple of months, and I'm starting to see some real improvements in him, and so I wanted to share some of that with you today. So my name is Patty, and my husband died just over 2 months ago, and I noticed right away. Some changes in Romeo. First of all, that first weekend when it happened, he was. So I had been away at the hospital, and things were different. I came back, and Dad was not with me, and so he seemed very confused and a little bit despondent and very clingy to me, which he hadn't been. He was very attached to my husband, and so I hadn't really felt that huge emotional connection. I was his main caregiver. He spent a lot of time with me, but especially in these past few months, he spent a lot of time with my husband. I believe caring for him and being a support for him. So I started noticing a few behavior changes right away, and I started doing things trying to, when you're in the thick of grief, especially those first weeks, your brain is mud. So I was just kind of grasping at straws initially, trying different things. And in the midst of all that, we had to travel. Then I ended up having to leave him twice, actually, in that first about month or so. I had to leave to go get a vehicle that was in another state, and so I left him in the care of people who he knows and he's spent a lot of time with, especially this past summer. And but I've since learned that that's one of the worst things you can do when a pet has already lost someone. And in this case, had I known better, I don't know that there's a lot I could have done differently. Sometimes that's just the way it is, and you try to make the best of it. And I feel like I did do that, but I do think that is a setback. So if you absolutely can avoid it, try to stay with them. Try to be that primary caregiver for them, because I've made a lot more progress since my life has resettled back. And then I ended up having to make another trip. We went to another state for his memorial, and this time he got left. This was just an overnight, and so he got left by himself, which is even more devastating. And again, I thought I had taken the safeguards, and I had a camera. He had an automatic feeder that actually I could record my voice. So I thought I was doing things to help him, and I think on some level they did. I was able to talk to him with the camera. I was able to monitor him. Again, less than ideal situation, but it was what I had to work with. And I beat myself up for a half a minute, that I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have left him alone. Couldn't be avoided. But if you can, I would say that's best practice. Best practice is to stay with them. But what started as just some despondency and, eating less and being a little, just behavior changes towards, being, they were positive in some ways because he was more affectionate with me. So it started with that. And then it went to, just like we go through stages of grief. I think for him, the realization set in that, Dad's still not back. Where is he? And so the next thing he started doing is spraying. Now he's an older male, or middle-aged, teenager. He's a teenage male. And he's fixed. And like he sprayed once when we first got him when he was like 2 years old. And it was like we had left him alone to run to the store. And he sprayed the end of our bed. I cleaned it. Never sprayed again all these years. But he started spraying. And not only outside, we would go outside and he was spraying everywhere outside, which hadn't really been a thing for him. But inside it had never been a thing. And so nightmare of nightmares, trying to deal with that when you're trying to deal with so many other things and you're constantly, and if you don't get that smell out, you don't get that scent out, it's just going to be more and more spraying. So that is a very common way. I've learned the appetite change. A lot of it is similar to human grief. Appetite changes, change in patterns, change in the routines. One of the things he has done, my husband walked with him a lot during the summer, and he's about walked me to death these last couple months. For the first probably month and a half, things have just been settling in the last couple weeks. He still loves to walk, and I'm cool with that. But he was on this frantic. I told my daughter it was like he was searching. Like, I don't know if he's looking, because I'm back, at my daughter's where we spent the summer, and so walking a lot of the same alleys and roads and places that he walked with my husband. So I don't know if he's just searching for him. So those are some of the things to kind of watch out for. Another thing is, if you have any clothing or towel, blanket, anything that might have their person's scent on it, just like we as humans, we like to cling to those things a little bit. It's great for them. It'll help bring them comfort. I didn't really have much of anything. I had just done all of our laundry. Everything was done. And then one of the things he started spraying on was our bed. So I had to wash my bedding. So he didn't even have that. So that was a tough one. But being able to have that scent. So the things that I found have been super helpful. Something I'd used in the past as we've adjusted him to changes of moves and things is a fill-away little plug-in diffuser. It's like a cat pheromone. It's a calming. And so I had one, and I ended up getting a second one. So I have one in the bedroom where he spends a lot of time, and then I have one out in my main space. And then I recently, he was due for shots and all that. So I finally took him to the vet, and I talked to them because I felt like I had tried everything, and something that's out there that I was familiar with the diffuser But there's also collars. They're just like flea collars, but they're calming collars. And so he wears one of those now. You can see under he's a little bulked up now because he's got this other, sorry about that, this purple one here. And I don't know if they're all purple. This particular one I got is, which my husband would probably be horrified that he's wearing a purple collar. He's not a girl, he's a boy. But I say it takes a confident man to wear purple. Anyway, so he's down here. I don't know if you can see. There's some other cats down here. This area has some stray cats, and this is one of his. He likes to come down here and just hang out and stare at the stray cats. But so those have been super helpful. Having that collar on him has really helped a lot. I think part of his particular process has also been because of our relocation, and so where we're at now, we've been sitting here. We were here for the summer. We were only gone about a week before we came back, and so he, I think, is starting to perceive this territory as his, but it's not. My daughter has cats, and so I think some of his behaviors may have been intensified, as well as the grief. He's also been dealing with those territorial things. He does not look happy. But those have been super helpful. And spending time playing with him, it's been I've had to, go through the gamut. Toys that he used to play with, not interested anymore. But I repurchased one that he had in the past. It's more of a, it's almost like a fishing pole, fishing rod style, and it's got feathers on the end, and it's very engaging. He's very into the hunt mode, and so he's been playing with that a lot more, but just spending time with him, trying to take it on his level, the amount of attention he wants. So some cats are going to be super clingy, super affectionate. He's never been a lap cat per se, to my utter disappointment. But he's becoming slowly one. He'll sit right up next to you, and he only wants, the amount of petting he wants. But, you just think about, he's really been walking him through his grief has really helped me walk through my own. It's given me, in those first weeks when, my life just got flipped inside out, and he gave me something to focus on, and gave me a puzzle to solve, because I was at my wit's end, like trying to do for him. I mean, there were nights I would just, break down crying, like, I miss him too. And, we're going to get through this. So I feel like, some people think cats are just cats, but I'm assuming if you're watching this, you have a little bit deeper bond with cats, and you understand. I mean, they're very intuitive creatures. They're very smart creatures, and I think he's feeling all the feels. It's on a level that is different, than what we feel. It breaks my heart, because at least I have some level of understanding. I don't perceive my husband's death as abandonment. Where is that what he's feeling? I don't know. But the research is out there that cats, animals, dogs. I mean, we've all seen the feel-good movies about the dogs that, track down they sit waiting for their owners and to come back and all that. They definitely grieve. And so, I think just showing them the level of compassion, and grace. I think the people around me have shown me, giving me the time and the space to get through it in my own way, but being there to support me in whatever way they can. I think that's the absolute best thing you can do for your pet, is do the same for them. Be there. I think just the big no-nos is, try to avoid changing things. Try to stay being the one that's going to be their caregiver. If you're in a situation where maybe you're the only person, like now, I'm trying to let my family know kind of, his needs and get to know him and what I'm walking through. So God forbid, if my time should come, which I don't even like to think about that right now, but because it's going to be a whole lot different, somebody coming in from the outside than somebody that's been living with that pet all along, just so that they know kind of how to help him, because that would be a double loss in that case. But I'm getting off track there. Just some food for thought, in thinking ahead. If you are like a solo owner of a pet, it's something to think about, going forward, should something happen to you. How to help the people help your pet. Putting some instructions down for them is, I think, a good thought. A little sidebar just popped into my head, so I thought I would share that. But yeah, just give them the same compassion and grace, that you would want, and that that you're receiving from other people, and I pray that you are. My family, my people have been amazing to me, my friends, being there, checking in, but also giving me, the space, and no pressure to like reach out or be back to whatever. So that's what I'm trying to do with him. And it's been good for me getting out and walking with him, and like I said, trying to figure out the puzzle. He's slowly gotten, he has not sprayed indoors in, I would say, a week and a half. And the last spot that he sprayed, I haven't cleaned yet because it was a curtain, and I had just cleaned those curtains and got them all rehung, and I was just like, I just can't right now. And so I basically treated them, and I thought, I'm just gonna wait and give it a little bit and see if he does it again. And he hasn't gone back and resprayed a spot, so that makes me feel better. Like I said, I did treat it, but prior to that hadn't worked. So and he had stopped, also the other thing, he had stopped really using his litter box. I mean, he would take care of number 2, but he would not pee in his litter box anymore. He was just spraying everywhere. So he's still not excited about using it, but he's getting better about it. So, but like I said, he's not spraying inside, and he's calmed down when he's outside. So I think the calming collar has really been a game changer. I'm continuing to keep that on him, as well as the diffusers in the house, by giving him just that extra attention, trying to give him what he needs. because I mean, if you have cats, they let you know when you have crossed the boundary of too much petting or whatever. Try not to make too many changes. Keep things as the same as you can, right? Because it is a time of change, for various reasons. But as long as you can keep things the same. And one other thing is, if you have any recordings of, I don't know that pictures necessarily, maybe, I'm not going to say not, but if you have any video footage or audio of that person that they've lost, it may be helpful to play it. My husband and I recorded our one and only first YouTube video, and I turned that on one night. I don't know why, I just did. And as soon as my husband started talking, Romeo, like, his head just like shot up, and he was like, and he turned his head all the way around and was staring at my phone screen. And I was like, am I imagining this? Do I just want to see this? And I moved the phone over. I kind of repositioned myself and moved the phone over to a new spot, and he turned again, and he just laid there staring at that video. And I mean, he was staring it in a way that just broke my heart. It was I don't want to cry, but but I feel like it, and he just laid there and he watched for like 15 minutes, like however long the video played. It wasn't not a long one, but and then, I don't know, a week or so later, I turned it on again, and he looked at it and he watched a little bit, and then he just kind of laid down and went to sleep. So I think, I don't know if that for him, if it brought a measure of comfort. I don't know if it, you can stare at him for a little bit. He's on the move. I don't know if it brought him a measure of comfort. I don't know if for him it, cemented in his mind that, he's gone. This is all there is of him. I don't know what it did, but it seemed in the moment to be of a help. So, there's lots of things that you can try. I did try, I bought him a new, especially in anticipation that I was going to be leaving him. I had bought the new feeder, which, that was kind of a necessary. But I'm continuing to use that. And I've left the recording on. So now, if for any reason I do have to leave, that's not going to be, he's used to that now. It's not something new. And then I had also bought him a new water because he wasn't drinking a lot. And it's something I'd been considering, but it was probably not the best time. And then I moved them to new spots because, I had to plug it in. So, I did make some mistakes. I think they were, necessary, but learning curve, right? So if you can, if you have the opportunity to, I think an automatic feeder is a great thing to have, just because there are going to be those times when you're not going to be able to be there. You're going to be gone overnight, or especially when you become their solo caregiver. So that's kind of my walk through it, and his mood has improved. He seems like he's adjusting. One other topic that I did want to talk about is your grief. I believe part of it is as I have gotten better control over my emotions. I don't even like saying it that way. It's not better control, because that's not it at all. I have another video I put up on about gratitude, about thankfulness and grief, and that was like a real shift for me. And when I got to that place of placing more emphasis on the thankfulness, and that's helped me immensely to be calmer and just reframe my feelings into, gratitude for the good things. Your demeanor, just like our kids, right? Our kids pick up when we're angry, when we're sad, when we're happy, when we're calm and peaceful. Pets they're no different in that sense. So the more I've been able to focus on gratitude and my brain and body, just to be able to naturally regulate my emotional responses, I've watched him calmer too. So at the end of the day, it's a process, and I'm no expert, and by far not. But every animal's going to be different. Every relationship's going to be different. But if you have, just don't give up on them. I hit I was in tears. By the time I took him to the vet, I was at a place of just, I don't even know what to do. I feel like I'm trying all the things I know to try, and he's still spraying. He's still unhappy. And it's something I can't fix. I can't fix it for me. I can't fix it for him. But just don't give up on your pets. They're going through a hard season too. And you are the one that is closest to them. And you hold the keys to helping them get through it. So just hang in there. If I think of anything else, I'll drop it down in the comments. I'd love to know if you have walked through this, if you're in this season, if there's things that you've tried and that have worked. I'd love to see your kitty cats down there. Well, I don't know if you can share photos. I feel like I've tried to share photos before and it didn't work. But hang in there, fellow pet moms and dads. Just as you're going to get through this and be on the other side of the hard stuff, the hardest stuff, your pet's going to get there too. So with that, Romeo, would you like to say goodbye? Romeo. Hey. He's being very, very, I'm not going to look at you. We're going to say goodbye and again, I'm Patty, and I would love to hear about your experiences with pet grief. And if this has been helpful to you, or someone, please share. I would love that, and I would love for you to subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel. I really believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I'm kind of figuring my way through it. But this is what God's given me to talk about today. So take care, my fellow pet friends, pet owner friends. Bye.